Tonight, Christmas buyers beware.
Once that's swallowed, it starts going through the lining of the stomach and causes serious internal injuries.
The new scams fleecing millions from unsuspecting customers.
You think it could never happen to you, you've got to be really, really careful.
And the sophisticated frauds catching us out.
I felt sick to think that somebody could come along, take that amount of money out so easily. They had me hook, line and sinker, I'm afraid.
But would you be able to spot them?
So she's logged in with her password and her email, and a fraudster would now make fraudulent purchases on that account.
Good evening and welcome to the Tonight programme. For many, Christmas shopping will now be in full swing, but some of us may be getting more than we bargained for. According to Action Fraud, the last 3 years have seen a 24% increase in online fraud during the festive period, with victims losing nearly £11.5 million. Adam Shaw investigates how to beat the scammers and keep your cash safe this Christmas.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, but it can be pretty expensive too, with our wallets and our time taking a hammering. Christmas is just around the corner, and if last year was anything to go by, we're likely to spend around £80 billion over the festive period. But as we prepare for Christmas, so are the criminals, who are likely to pounce on anyone who lets their guard down. So, just how easy is it to fall for a scam? Well, we're about to put some unsuspecting Christmas shoppers to the test. They think they're taking part in some consumer research, searching for the best festive deals online. But hidden next door, we have our tech team. Online security experts Ash, Martin and Ben will be hitting our shoppers with some fake emails and texts to see just how much personal information they give away. Well, welcome everybody to the Tonight programme Christmas sitting room. Ash is your guide for today, so I'll hand over to Ash.
Hello everyone. So we are really interested in how consumer shopping has changed over the last 10 years. So today you're going to be using all your normal devices, and I just want to have a better understanding of how you shop in the run-up to Christmas.
OK, well, let's get shopping. The first test for our shoppers is, will they log on to the public Wi-Fi set up by the tech team?
We've got all of them connected through our hotspot, so we've got all their phone numbers, email addresses, and at least one password that they've set to that they might be reusing elsewhere, so we can have a look at that.
Using a public Wi-Fi, like our shoppers have just logged on to, means you may be vulnerable to risks, such as hacking. So never access your online banking, input any passwords or sensitive information. And for these guys, it means our tech team can monitor what they're all up to online.
My goodness, so we know that this person is using a Windows version 10, so a huge amount of data already coming through.
As the guys are happily surfing for the best deals, Ash and Ben will be sending out some tempting but fake texts and emails. We'll see the results later. Most of us will be enticed by a good deal, particularly at Christmas. But how do we know what we are buying is actually the real deal? Each year, £9 billion worth of fake goods flood into the UK, with a large percentage being sold online, which keeps trading standards officers like Emma Butterworth very busy indeed.
We're coming up to Christmas. What is wrong with these? Because they look to me like they're regular toys.
So the counterfeit ones are not safe. So, for example, this little helicopter here had blades on it that were spinning too fast and they would hurt people.
Around 10% of toys coming into the UK are fake. And though it may be tempting to grab what appears to be a bargain, it could turn out to be very costly indeed.
This is something that we use. This is supposed to represent the throat of an under 3-year-old child. So if it fits in here, then it's likely to be something that can be swallowed and choked on. These squishy toys pull apart very easily. You can rip that ear off.
Yeah, you didn't have to try hard for that.
No.
Now, you've got some toys with batteries in them here. Tell me about these and their problems.
They are easily accessible, these battery compartments. Anything that's legitimate requires a screwdriver to get into the battery compartment.
Right,
because
so that's an important point. Why are they particularly dangerous?
It's the battery acid reacting with the acid in your stomach. Once that's swallowed, within a couple of hours, the acids react together and it starts going through the lining of the stomach and causes serious internal injuries.
Gosh, that's horrific. So in the run-up to Christmas, a lot of people will be doing online shopping. What advice do you have for them to ensure that they're buying from a legitimate and safe retailer?
So the thing I would always recommend people to do is check the seller on the selling platform. So is there a name and address of the person in the UK?
The UK beauty industry is booming, with sales last year of over £3 billion. But the demand for big-name brands, often bought online, has created a whole new industry for counterfeit products.
There has been a huge rise in fake makeup. I mean, it's not a new problem, but over the past few years, particularly with online marketing, the way that we shop changing, it's becoming a bigger and bigger problem.
20-year-old Larissa loves to shop, both on the high street and online. And like many young women, she enjoys trying out the latest makeup ranges.
It makes you feel more confident as a person. I think like other girls feel like that as well. But I feel like it's more competition nowadays, more pressure to have more expensive brands.
Come on. Good boy. Earlier this year, Larissa went online in search of a Kylie Jenner lipstick, and she quickly found a seller through her social media with a very good price.
The price was about £30 cheaper than what it would be online.
When the makeup arrived, there was nothing to suggest it was anything other than the genuine brand. But problems began not long after Larissa applied the lipstick for a night out.
My lips felt a bit tingly, but I didn't think anything of it. And when I got home, I could see that it started swelling.
By the next day, the swelling had increased and her lip had started to blister. Concerned and in pain, she made an appointment with her doctor.
He said it's definitely an allergic reaction to something, so it's going to be the lipsticks. It's the only new thing that I've put on. The doctor said if it carries on getting bigger and bigger or affects my breathing, then to call 999, they'll go straight down A&E.
Larissa was advised to take antihistamines, and the swelling and blistering subsided after 4 days. But she was keen to know what had happened.
I had a look at the packaging compared to my friend who's got a real one. It's got like a symbol at the top. That wasn't on my box, so that's how I knew it was fake.
There's a number of toxic things that have been found in fake makeup. So you've got harmful chemicals like arsenic, lead, mercury, which don't belong there. But in addition to that, even things like paint stripper, human feces. And we have to bear in mind, this is stuff that we are applying directly to our skin. You know, your eyes and your mouth, you may accidentally be ingesting them. There is a risk of allergic skin reactions. And in more severe cases, long-term health effects. So things like issues with the brain, issues with the gut, issues with the menstrual cycle, all of which are potentially really serious.
Larissa contacted the lipstick seller on social media, but they didn't respond and blocked her.
I wouldn't buy on social media at all. It's just too risky, especially because of how painful it were.
If the price is too good to be true, it probably is. If you've never heard of the brand or the website selling that product, if you know it's sold out everywhere else and suddenly it's available at its knockdown rate, alarm bells should be ringing.
But it's not just fake goods we need to be wary of, as criminals are now infiltrating our smartphones with fake text messages. The scam is called smishing, and the aim is to trick you into giving out private information. But will a smishing text from our tech team convince one of our unsuspecting shoppers? Sarah's about to receive what will appear to be a genuine text from a florist.
So it'll look like it's come from an established flower delivery company locally. It will just be telling her that a delivery driver is going to be in touch soon, and then later on, Ben is going to call her and ask her when she's available, actually finding out when she's not going to be home so that he could burgle her house. And he can be quite convincing because he can use Google Maps to describe the outside of her house. It's gone. Oh, she's smiling.
She's smiling.
Pretend flower courier Ben follows up the text with a call.
I'm just down the road, just near a Shell garage.
Oh yeah, my mum's at the end house number. Can you drop them there, please?
Sarah then texts fake flower delivery man Ben with some potentially valuable information.
She sent her mum's address through, her mum's name, and the fact that she's not home until 7. In the wrong hands, potentially quite damaging, dangerous information.
So, on this occasion, Sarah won't actually be receiving flowers. Not too much harm done. But a text from a fraudster can have devastating consequences.
Criminals are becoming increasingly sophisticated when it comes to scamming us, particularly via text. There's a big problem with number spoofing, which is where you'll receive a text that looks like it's come from your bank in most cases. It will seem really trustworthy. And then the scam has you on the hook, and you'll think you're dealing with your bank, actually you're speaking to a scammer.
Jim from Surrey has been working since he was 16. Now semi-retired, he has for the last 20 years run his own engineering company. But last Christmas, he was a victim of smishing.
I receive a weekly text from NatWest on a joint account I have with one of my son-in-laws, and it came up in a string of those as NatWest. And it said they had detected unusual activity on my account. Could I please phone this number?
So Jim called the number and was put through to an advisor who explained they were having trouble authorising a payment he had made.
They told me the amount and I explained to them it was genuine. Somewhere during our conversations I had given them 2 numbers from my PIN, first and second numbers, and I was asked for the second and third, and I refused to give her the third number. I said, if you've got 3 out of 4, it's a 1 in 9 chance of getting all my PINs. So no, I can't give you that, you've already had 2 numbers. And she said, well, I have to hang up. I said, well, OK then. I said, but you know, if you want to ask another security question, you can. Now, she asked me what my favourite football team was, and that was one of my stock answers. Everything they said and did led me to believe that it was genuine, and nothing but. And I thought they were helping me.
After over an hour on the phone, Jim believed the matter was finally resolved and his payment had now been authorised. That was until NatWest called him the next day.
They said, we think that your account has been accessed. Can I ask you about 2 payments we made yesterday? And there were 2 figures that amount to 12,857. I said, no, I most certainly hadn't made those payments. I thought long and hard about the conversation I'd had with NatWest advisor the day before, and could see that if that person wasn't a NatWest advisor, I'd probably let them into my account. I felt sick to think that somebody could come along, take that amount of money out so easily. At the time, they had me hook, line and sinker, I'm afraid.
Jim says NatWest investigated his case but decided not to refund the money lost, as they said he had given over security details which enabled the fraudster to access his account. Experts are warning that these sorts of fraudulent activities may peak in the run-up to the festive season. Our shoppers are about to receive some unexpected emails with some very tempting Christmas offers. They appear to come from some well-known retailers, but are in fact convincing fakes from our tech team.
So Carol has actually opened the email about a fake Amazon order. We've told her that an Xbox has been ordered on her account and it's going to a foreign address. It says in the email, if you think this is a mistake, log in here and it will ask for your credentials again.
So we'll find out whether she's gone directly to her account, which is much more preferable than clicking on links and emails.
She's just clicked. She's on the login page, so she might submit her data now. Yeah, so she's logged in with her password and her email, and a fraudster would now make fraudulent purchases on that account.
I think Katie might have just clicked on something. Yeah, we've got her email and password.
Craig has submitted his details as well.
If you're doing this to millions of people over days, weeks, months, the amount of information you can draw back from that is scary.
One couple who know just how dangerous a fake email can be, Julie, are Simon and Julie from Portsmouth. And it all began with a dream of owning a motorhome.
We'd had quite a few bereavements in our family. We had a brand new little grandson, so it was like a new start for us to let's start travelling around, take our sons and our grandson with us.
They searched online and found the perfect motorhome being sold by a private seller on the auction site eBay for £9,500.
I contacted the seller asking for more information, because obviously it's a lot of money, and he sent some more photos and photo of the V5, and he sounded trustworthy. He was basically saying that he'd been messed about before on eBay and wanted to make sure everything was done through PayPal and through eBay, so we were both protected.
The excited couple made an offer of £8,500, which was accepted. However, the supposed seller was in fact a fraudster who then sent the couple texts and emails mimicking eBay and PayPal.
I got a text from PayPal. Well, it came through saying it was PayPal, and then I got an email with the details of how to make the payment.
So the emails to you all said eBay on them.
eBay Motors.
They happened not to be from eBay, but you didn't know.
No, how could you know?
How could you know? It's the logo, it's everything exactly the same.
The couple received an emailed invoice and were instructed to go into their bank to make the transfer. The correspondent said the money would be held by PayPal until they had received and were happy with the motorhome.
I went into the bank with the invoice from eBay saying that it was a PayPal account that the money had to be put into.
But the account on the invoice where the money was being transferred was not a PayPal account. It was in the name of an individual.
And were you suspicious at any point at this moment?
No, I actually said to the person in the bank that I felt safe because I was doing it all via a legitimate invoice from eBay's into a PayPal account, so I wasn't worried at all.
As the payment wasn't in fact made through PayPal, it meant there was no protection from eBay. Unaware of any issues, Simon made the journey from Portsmouth to Edinburgh to collect their new motorhome. But when he arrived, there was no motorhome and no sign of the seller.
When the penny slowly started to drop that it was a sham, obviously it was gutting. I felt a bit stupid that we'd been caught out.
Simon rang and told me, and I burst out crying and we were gutted, to be honest.
Julie and Simon were the victims of a scam known as authorised push payment, and sadly they are not alone. In the first half of this year, £145 million was lost to criminals in this type of fraud.
Authorised push payment fraud happens when you transfer money from your bank account into another account. There are currently no protections in place to reverse that transaction. The best you can do is get hold of your bank straight away and ask them to reverse that transaction.
Like 4 out of 5 push payment victims, Julie and Simon have not had their money refunded by their bank.
I've since had a letter from the HSBC saying they've reclaimed some of the money from that bank account and sent us £41.
£41?
There is currently a voluntary code of practice that the banks are going through the process of signing off at the moment, and it's hoped that will mean it's a lot easier for a lot of people who are victims of these scams to recover their money. But those new rules aren't due to come in until early next year. And really, the banks are dragging their feet on this. They need to come in a lot sooner, or more people will be losing life-changing sums of money. The key advice is do not send money by bank transfer to anyone unless you have a personal relationship with them and you know exactly who you're sending it to.
UK Finance, who represent the banking industry, said banks are
Investing millions in security systems, introducing new standards to ensure scam victims get the help they need from their payments provider, supporting law enforcement and assisting the government in improving intelligence sharing. The finance industry is committed to ensuring consumers are better protected from the threat of authorised payment scams.
You think it could never happen to you, you're not a sucker, you're really switched on, you check things over, but they're real sophisticated crimes. You've got to be really, really careful.
To highlight just how sophisticated online scams can now be and what we all need to do to protect ourselves, we've been testing the online security of our shoppers.
I think it's time we tell them what we've been up to.
Altogether, they've been sent 38 fake emails and 3 fake texts.
How'd we get on? Very well. Yeah? Did anyone get anything they weren't expecting?
Yes.
Okay, I might know something about that. I do not work for a marketing retail group.
Right, okay.
We, in fact, work for a company who specialise in security awareness. And whilst you guys have all been looking for good deals, we have been infiltrating your inboxes as imposters.
Right, okay.
Yeah. And in some cases, you logged into fake sites with your actual data, which fraudsters could then have got hold of.
Wow.
So, Carol, you got an email that you weren't expecting.
I did. It was for an Xbox and a game for over £500. That set my heart racing, thinking, there's obviously something wrong here.
So you did log in, didn't you?
Yeah.
So you clicked the email?
I clicked it, yeah, to try and get more information, yeah. I thought it was maybe an administrative error with it being Christmas and everything so busy. I was trying to sort it for Amazon, if you like.
Interesting.
Yeah. Katie, I'm afraid yourself and Carol have both logged in and you didn't catch on that there was some slight tweaks, shall we say, to the website. For instance, the URL wasn't correct.
And if you use that same password anywhere else, fraudsters could also have that, start logging into those accounts.
And Sarah, you got something you weren't expecting on your phone. My colleague Ben might know something about that.
I'm very sorry, Sarah. I wasn't down near the Shell garage.
Oh, right, okay.
So we sent you a message saying we couldn't deliver the flowers and that our delivery driver, Ben, would be in touch later on to rearrange delivery.
Yes.
And what we were actually doing was finding out when you weren't home. On the run-up to Christmas, there are so many burglaries, and it's the best way to find out if when someone's not home rather than when they are home.
Yeah.
So you received an email from a voucher site, didn't you? And it was,
Yes.
Yeah, and it said 40% off holidays. Log in to get the offer. And you did, didn't you?
I logged in, yes. Do I feel daft?
It's so easily done. Really is so easily done.
Overall, 4 out of our 6 shoppers submitted personal data after clicking on a link in a fake email, and Sarah responded to the fake text.
There are ways you can protect yourself. A really good top tip is to get a password manager. There's a few of them out there. What they do for you is they give you strong passwords. They tell you which passwords might have been used in a breach if your data's been stolen. Normally, these types of scams would be sent out to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people every day. So they wouldn't necessarily be this targeted. We just did that to kind of prove the point and to hopefully enable you guys to make better decisions in the future.
Actually flabbergasted, like I am shocked, but I've learned a lesson.
I thought I was quite careful, but I don't think anybody can be too careful anymore.
Never too old and you're never too wise, you know, to fall for these tricks.
If it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Just be really, really careful, especially around Christmas time.
If you want more information on how to stay safe online this Christmas, just head to our website at itv.com/.